Welcome to the Temple of Flame. And today, Faith Black Lights, we take a look at this. And what this is, so this is from the Ghost Wolf Pepper Company. It is the Elder's Revenge hot sauce. And so, Elder is this doggo, this pupper here, that is standing on a skull that has some sort of plant intersecting it here. I can't quite make out what some of this other stuff is. Maybe it's a piece of a headstone or something. We've got... So this I like a lot. I am a huge fan of European graveyard art. It's one of my favorite things in the world. And this definitely sort of evokes that whole thing. So there's a theme behind this. There's a cause. There's a cause. There's a mission behind this sauce, and I get into that a little more in the written review, which is available in the description down below. For this, I think I am going to talk about, instead, label design. And so this is actually a t-shirt graphic as well. You can, I believe, buy this graphic for a t-shirt. So the loving memory of Elder, it kind of goes into this a bit here. This is honestly very difficult to actually read like this, because you've got to sort of, you can see it reflects. You got to sort of almost a foil to the, you know what, I'm not even going to attempt to do this. Look at this. Look at how small this text is above the UPCs. Every time I want to read what this is, I have to go to the website, and it's on the website, and you can blow it up and actually, it's matted out so you can actually read it, but I feel like they're trying really hard. There are a lot of skulls here, human skulls it looks like as well. That one I think might be a pupper down there, because it's got sort of dog ears. I don't want to be overly harsh, because obviously the loss of a pet can be, a beloved friend really, can be a highly traumatic experience. Obviously, the person who started this company took that very hard. What I understand is that there was sort of a lengthy illness as well. We have the dates of, we have years up here. I can't make out what they were. I believe the elder that this sauce is named for died in 2019. And I don't want to approach this with too much levity for this part of things. But like, probably made with 7 pot primas, okay? But this is just like super difficult to pull in. Like, this is for nutritional. What are labels for, right? Labels are to convey information. And the information is indeed all here, but it's not really in a form that is particularly legible. Let's see if we can pull it in. You can see there's a laundry list of, this is a limited edition. Yes, we have a first batch here. So, I'm going to try not to move this thing and try to pull it in as much as I can here so we can actually read it. Okay, so we've got water, 7 pot primos, which is a mash. We've got, okay, that's part of it. Lime juice. We've got, I can't make out what that says after Oh, from concentrate. We got elderberry juice, lime juice, elderberry juice concentrate rather. Garlic, ginger. We've got smoked scorpion powder. We've got sage. We've got ghost chili powder, white pepper, and salt. What is that other? This is honestly super, super frustrating. I do like the colors. Like, so this part is not legible down here. This is the way that they did that script is not great. So Elder's Revenge and the Pup Dog. This sort of graphic is fine. Everything else, the sort of tombstone, sort of mausoleum thing here with the Weeping Angel, this is okay. It's just like this needs to be reworked so this stuff can actually be legible. Like if you're gonna put it on here, I just like you could have made this. There's the space on here. You could have added at least another maybe half an inch or so. Kind of spread it out a little bit. You have plenty of room to actually. There is the level stripe. You could have run this a little bit longer this way to give yourself a little bit more size here and rework this. I mean, I get it that we're trying to do black with the crescent moon here and some stars and little paw prints here, but like it is very difficult to pick this stuff out. So to me, like this label probably needs to be reworked. Again, that is maybe just a personal pet peeve of mine, but we got this right. We got probably made with 7 Pop Primo peppers right there. That is larger than literally everything else on here. And as far as ingredients and stuff here, I don't understand why. This one, they actually very wisely, in my view, put this running up the side like kind of a ribbon, because it's not clear who actually is making this sauce. Like Elder's Revenge was what I thought was the name of the sauce company prior to this. Okay, so all of that aside, there's a lot good here. Honestly, it just needs to be fine-tuned, in my view. Anyway, well, I don't know if I might keep this. I actually do kind of like the look of this bottle. I might keep this on the shelf because this is pretty cool. So we've got this sort of. Well, actually, let's throw it in the old spoon so you can have a look at it. We've got I guess almost a maroon. Not quite purple. As you can see, it is a fairly thin sauce. Lots of powder here. There's a lot of powder making this up. And so just smelling this right now, I can definitely smell the super hots. There's no shortage of those. This is frankly a very punchy sauce, and if you do want to see the levity I was planning on, the way my mind works is broken sometimes, I guess. But the first thought that I had with this, I'm not going to include in the video, but you can go check out the written review if you're interested, as well as the backstory of the sauce, which I think is actually really interesting. And I think there's some noble aims here as well. But I mean, that's all one thing. Obviously, it has to function well as a hot sauce also. I think the approach is kind of novel though. So yeah, more of a deep, darker sort of maroon. Maybe almost a red towards maroon as well. I mean, it almost is a sort of a wine color actually. I mean, I think the color of the sauce is actually pretty good. The suggestion here, though, you can see using purple as a color here. You have to definitely blow up the letters to get it to be legible, especially if you're using a sort of stylized font like this. That definitely need to kind of, because you can read what this is. It's very difficult to pull that in at the bottom. And I think the suggestion is more towards purple and berries with that. So that part is kind of good. I'm not quite clear what these things on the side though are. What these are meant to be. I don't know. Maybe it's supposed to be like sage. I don't know how sage grows. I thought it was kind of sort of a leafy thing. It could, maybe that's how elderberries grow. I don't actually know. That part I wish was more clear as to what those are, what were meant to be. It's sort of a neat framing device, but what is it? You know what I mean? It's like, why is it there? You could have just had you could have actually had this, a sort of a tombstone behind for a background, or like the outline of one. And then it goes into the skull's mouth, and I'm just, I find the entire thing interesting, but also somewhat confusing as well. And of course, there's the paw prints on there as well. A very striking label. Obviously, I'm talking about the label a lot in the middle of a sauce review. But I find this sort of thing just really, really fascinating. And obviously, the graphics are a pretty integral part of the entire sort of motif here with this whole thing. But anyway, wine-colored sauce, plenty of super hots. And it is extremely punchy, and I'm not stalling or anything much. Not totally, not completely. But I guess we've come to the time where I can't do even it slightly anymore. We need to get into this. So let's do that right now. Ooh. Wow. Woof. Very, very bitter hot. Bitter, super hot flavor to this. Extremely forward. No mistaking, there's a lot of super hots there. Definitely very punchy sauce as well. Light elements of smoke. Definitely the sage is reading through. Elderberry, not really so much at this point. Yeah, very, very, very punchy. No question about that. Oy. All right, so sage is an interesting choice, and part of me was wondering what to try to pair it with. Sage isn't something I eat a lot of, so I did find roast chicken, which we have here, and the idea was summer squash, which I couldn't find, so we got sweet potatoes. I haven't had these before, so I'm going to get a baseline here real quick. They're very plain. So we'll see how that goes. Boy. Every once in a while with powders, I'll get some that will just attack. There's two TRPV1 receptors back here, and sometimes stuff will just latch onto those, and that is really unpleasant. Which is what happened here. My tolerance is a bit low. Very punchy sauce, but I hate when that happens. I've had it happen with jalapenos before too, where it just latches on and it won't let go. All right, so we got I just got a rotisserie chicken and essentially just butchered it in half. Let's throw some. There's a very powdery aspect to this sauce as well. It's a very interesting approach for a sauce. So why choose elderberry, I think, is an interesting question. You know, I don't think I've ever seen anybody in the sauce world use this before. Definitely, by the way, having it directly out of the bottle in the spoon like I did, not the best way of having this. Like here, I'm getting some of the actual berry flavor, finally. And the sage. Whereas before, it was just, you know, when I had it out of the spoon, it was borderline mouthful of blast furnace. There's no mistaking that there's super hots here. Like, you got 3 of them. Smoked scorpion, not a huge fan of scorpion generally, but I've had a couple sauces that are leading me to think that smoking it is absolutely the way to go. So it really sort of modifies the floral nature of that pepper a lot. To the good, too. Boy. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. This is definitely one of the hotter sauces I've had this year. Let's, I don't know how this is going to go. Would summer squash have been better? Probably. We'll see how this is. I don't want to do the whole thing just in case I don't like it. Well, the flavor combination is interesting. I don't like it though. Honestly, I have kind of found pairing the sauce somewhat of a challenge. Oh. There's roaring super hot. Alright, I'll figure we'll address those later. So on the vegetables, it is intensely bitter. It works better with meats. I actually do like it on this roasted chicken. Especially the fatty pieces. Legs and the thighs. That was good. Oh. I mean, I guess if you're going to call your sauce something revenge, it should be a indicator that you're not playing. The sauce doesn't. So, starting to do these videos has modified a little bit how I approach content. Like before, I would usually test the sauce for a few weeks. Till I got the feel for it. And then, just write the review. Which I did for a long time. This one, I don't film these usually until I have the review mostly in mind. Sometimes written, but at least thought through. And my mode is still the same for the most part, which is to do that, but I've decided that a lot of the time I actually will hold off writing until I film these reviews, because sometimes I'll notice things that show up in the flavor, or I'll go back and reconsider the heat. This one I had as a definite 3 for heat. Which are often very, very intensely hot sauces, but I'm now thinking I actually probably need to make this a 4. Sometimes the heat of sauces will read differently. Obviously, depending on what your tolerance is. Mine is low at the moment. But I've been doing this so long that I can get a general feel for where it should fall. Even if I did have higher tolerance, this is still an intensely hot sauce. So, even having it here with all this stuff, I'm feeling like it's pushing past a 3, but doesn't make it to a 4. Even with food, it's still pretty punishing. I really don't like that it's attacking the back of my throat, though. That is, fortunately, that doesn't happen very often. But it's definitely still going on. Which makes talking a bit of a chore. It is good here. Man, though, I don't... Flavor combination, I guess, is just very unusual. Like I said, elderberry is not something I run across a lot. Sage, I'm not a huge fan of. You know, actually, I used to run around with this Wiccan chick, and or witch or whatever, and she was, and I think this is probably, you know, par for the course, but she was very firm on, you know, using burning sage to purify stuff. You know, purify a new living space if you move, for instance, that type of thing. So that is most of my exposure to sage, if I'm being honest. Maybe a little bit for stuffing. I don't think I would want this on stuffing. I think roasted meats, it does work pretty well, but this is just very aggressively forward. Honestly, in the the bitter super hot flavor. It just is very, very, I'll spill my Diet Squirt here. Very, very much to the fore. The flavor is not bad. There's a couple things that I think would, so this has been open at this point. I've used a little bit over an ounce. It's been open for weeks, several weeks. And it's just because I couldn't get a handle on it. I like the slight smokiness. I like the sort of berry flavor when I can get that. I'm not in love with the sage portion of this, to be honest. So smoke and the berry is good. It is just, I think that's actually what, again, this kind of goes back to one of the other things I've said before about sauces that use a lot of powder. And that is that you just get that sort of aspect showing up. So for me, there's a couple things kind of preventing me from using this sauce to any great extent. I mean, I use it here and there. It is very, if you get a bottle of this, it is something you can 100% use as a tolerance builder. No question. But the things that kind of hold me back from using it a lot are, again, this, like, I don't know why the sage is there. It's a really, I guess, just unusual element to me. It's kind of strange. The sort of powdery aspect, I don't love that in sauces. I don't love it here either. In my view, it will tend to push the sauce way, way harder towards the bitter scale. And super hots don't need help with that. And also the heat level itself is, I think this is a sauce that you definitely are going to want to use sparingly. Like you're going to want to use this as accents for stuff. And the flavor isn't, it's interesting, but it's not something I want to have a lot of necessarily, just because it does trend towards that sort of powdery, super hot bitter that I mentioned. So I think it's really, really fascinating. It's a very unique sauce. I can't think of anything out there quite like this. It is absolutely blazing as well. So I think it might be interesting. I am going to try it on some more stuff. Usually I will, like, if it is berries, like I like the combination of berry and burger. I'll probably try it on burgers. I haven't to this point. I think in the context of, so a lot of what I've had it on is like fried foods and chicken. Chicken was the first sort of, like the rotisserie chicken is the first sort of thing. I was like, oh, there we go. That's kind of where this goes. I think you could use it on other stuff as well. It might be interesting on pork. But I'm thinking if I made or got one, either way, a fried chicken sandwich, I think that would be really interesting with this. You know, where you kind of have the bun and then you have lettuce, mayo, tomato, all that stuff as well. I think that would be really, really interesting in conjunction with this. And it might soften some of those very, very rough, bitter edges. But definitely, you know, I don't always make it a point in these videos. For this one, I am going to make it a point. If you haven't already, definitely read the written review for this and find out about the mission, which is, I think, a pretty worthy one. The heart of the sauce maker is definitely in the right place in this one. But as far as the sauce itself, all this comes down to opinion, right? There's no right or wrong anything in this. It is just if yours happens to match mine. I'm not saying that I'm definitively correct on anything. If your perception and the flavors and the things that you like in food in general and in sauces matches mine, and you can do that by buying any of the sauces I've reviewed and checking it out for yourself, then you might get turned on to some really, really cool things. If you like sage better than I do, and you're also a chili head, this is 100% a chili head only sauce. If you are not a chili head, don't come to this party. You probably won't enjoy it. But if you are, and you like sage, and maybe you like the sort of bitter nature of powders, then this is definitely one worth looking into. Especially, I really like the idea of the elderberry in there. Super unique. Definitely, there's a lot of intrigue with this sauce, I think. Everything from the approach of the label and so on, the motif. Yeah, I mean, there's more to it, obviously, than just the sauce itself, and that's I don't think I've ever seen anyone try to make something as comprehensive as what they're trying to do here with this as the flagship sauce. So definitely very cool. I've not ever seen it before. And we'll just leave it right there. So that was the Ghost Wolf Pepper Company Elder's Revenge Hot Sauce. Number 4. In peace, to serve the flame.